Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Akta Sehgal Malhotra, founder, Kiddo Mentoring. Mentoring, a process which is two-way, where not only we adults, but most often than not, these young children or even small children mentor us. And that is why I bring these children to talk to us, to understand their world, to understand what they do, how much are they passionate, how much of an effort are they putting to hone up their skills, and how do they respond to situations of failing if they were given a chance to be a genie, and so on and so forth. But today's conversation is going to be very different. Today's conversation is not just a journey of a child, but it is also a conversation between two adults where one of them is going to help the other, and many of us take a sneak peek into the mind of a child. This child is Shifa Khan. She's 19, a second year liberal arts student, and has an extreme passionate for psychology and dance. Has a bent of mind which is inclined towards spirituality, and like any daughter, she is also the the pride of her parents. Very, very talented girl this is, and she is going to help us understand the mind of a child. And who better than a child who now is an adult to make us understand how does a child think, why do they behave in a certain manner. And she would perhaps take anecdotes from her own life as to how she thinks today, how she thought then, and what could be the way forward for us parents. And trust me, we might just be in for some eye opening thoughts to really ponder over. So, very warm welcome, Shifa, at
Thank you.
Kidometry. And I am looking forward to this conversation because, in
Mhm.
addition to being a kid's mentor, I am also a parent myself. And many a times, the mind of a child intrigues me, and the way they behave, the way they respond. A 4-year old today is perhaps equivalent to a 14-year-old, and a 14-year is equivalent to perhaps a 30-year-old child in terms of the mind, the maturity that they have. So, we would first like to know you a little better, and then we would like you to take us into the mind of the child and share your thoughts on this. Over to you, Shifa.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. First of all, thanks a lot for those kind words. Meant a lot. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Shifa Khan, and I'm 19 years old, and I'm studying BA Liberal Arts right now, second year student. And like my ma'am mentioned, that I'm passionate about psychology and dance, and aspire to be a psychologist and dance therapist in future. Also, my hobbies are towards dancing, singing, acting. I also like trying new things, like anything like cooking or sometimes. Right now, I'm trying to be more towards reading books. Like I was never a kid who used to be more like a bookworm. So now I'm trying to read more books now. Especially lockdown gave me that opportunity. So I have been in Pune for past 19 years now. I was 6 months when I came here, um, and I'm brought up in Pune. I was born in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, and my brother was born here, so came here. And I have done my education, my schooling first to 10th from the Orchid School. Then from high school 11, 12th, I went to GIIS Global Indian International School, and right now I'm pursuing undergraduate degree in liberal arts from the MIT WPO,
Wow,
University.
wonderful. So, Shifa, why psychology? Why are you so passionate about psychology?
Ma'am, I think we have already given enough attention and credits to our physical health and physical ailments. And now it's high time, and that we realize that mental health is the need of the hour, and it's equally important as your physical health, because I don't think there can be any physical health without mental health. Everything is interconnected. So nothing can be as great as jumping into this and exploring myself, and so psychology it is for me.
Absolutely. Very rightly said that physical health without mental health and mental health without physical health is not really possible, because both are absolutely interlinked. And truly said that high time that mental health is given the due attention that it needs. And, perhaps 1 in 4 people suffer from a mental health challenge, not only in
True.
our country but world over, right? I hope I have my statistics right. And this number is just getting worsened by the day,
It's true, ma'am.
right? Uh, so, Shifa, we understand as a parent, we think that whatever we tell a child is right, right? But many a times it may not be the case, right? You've been a child and now you're an adult, and now you're at your free will, but of course with a lot of guidance from your parents, from both your mother and father, and from the other elders in the family.
Yes.
How does the mind of a child really work, and why is it that there is always a disconnect between the parent and the child's mind, and very rarely that they come to a consensus that, okay, fine, what you say, which is a child, is right. That acceptance is not there. Why does this happen?
Okay, ma'am. So, first of all, to start with, I think one thing that makes our generation very different from the previous generation, from our parents' generation or grandparents' generation, is that we have perspective. We have the courage to question things. And I'm not trying to say that you guys never had perspective. Of course, you did too. But then here, like, because of conditioning, you carried a lot of baggage which you were expected to follow, and like blindly follow many things without really questioning that, wait, why am I doing this? Is it really important? Do I really want to do this? Now here comes a generation which actually questions that, wait, I'm not going to believe whatever has been told to me, because I have my own analysis. This is my life, this is my experience. And that is where our generation stands out. And if you look into a child's mind, so like a child's subconscious mind develops at the age of 7 to 8 years. So it's very important that whatever the child is being told, whatever they hear, whatever they see, their experiences at that particular time should be guided very properly. Otherwise, any negative belief, any disbelief can, you know, get ingrained in their subconscious mind and later really ruin their teenage life and adulthood, of course, after that. So, we are here trying to relieve ourselves from the baggage of the conditioning that the society has given us. And so we stand out and we are trying to come across as individual beings who have our own view in life. So that's what makes a generation different, and that's why child and parents might not have consensus on many things, because um, our parents' generation have been told that whatever elders say, like it's the final thing you have to do. Like they wouldn't want anything wrong for you, and that's of course true. Why would any parent want something wrong for their child? They would always want something good for their child. But at the same time, it's very important to understand as a parent that, yes, I'm here to guide you. I will always be here to guide you. But you know what? I really want you to guide yourself as well. If you have my back, I want you to have your back as well. And that's where your self identity stands out. So if I give you opinions on a situation or your life career or whatever, take my opinion. I'm not forcing it upon you. But wait for a second. Ask yourself, do you think it will be ultimately correct for you? And go ahead with what you feel is right and not what we feel is right for you. Make your own way.
All
No
right.
matter. Okay, sorry.
So, okay, sorry, I'm going to, come in here. and
Yes.
I'm going to be neutral, okay? Because obviously, each of us who is a parent today has been a child, right? And when a child is small, while you may have that I thing, okay, that I know it, I can do this or I can do that, there is a lot of I in the current generation, okay? And that's also a comment and a kind of a question which comes from Monica, who's a mother of a 11-year-old child, that don't you think that having too much of I may not be very good? And just to an extension to that, when you're a child, right, you are learning, right? And as a parent, you have been through that graph, okay? Because after all, we didn't just become parents, we also walked that path of being a child. We grew up, and there is a natural progression, biologically, physiologically, mentally, emotionally. There is a progression that happens, right? But every child, including our generation also, I would say, and perhaps our parents generation also. So I'm talking about three generation: yours, mine, and the one before me, and many perhaps. Every child would think this, that I know it all, okay? But they falter. To give you a small example, if a 6 months old baby, okay, hypothetically, in his or her mind wiring says, okay, they're all walking, I can also walk, and starts to walk, the child still doesn't know or hasn't experienced that he or she will fall down because they don't have the strength in their legs, right? So that is where the parent will come and say that, hey, you know what, dude, you can't walk right now. So why is it that the current generation is viewing the parent as a competition, if I may use that word? Or is that not the case?
Um, Ma'am, I won't really call it a competition. Uh, but like you said, of course, there is no say that, of course, parents' guidance is important because you have been through your own journey in life, and you, of course, as a loving parent, wouldn't want your child to repeat the same mistakes or do things that did not work out well for you. So, of course, completely, I understand that you want the best for your child. Um, but at the same time, you know, to not to protecting them and stopping them from making the mistakes which you you don't want them to make, you shouldn't stop them from making their own mistakes in life, because that itself teaches them a lot. And again, the parents conditioning of course, you have to protect your child, you have to make sure that they don't go on the wrong path, which is very much needed, of course, because like you said, if a child is so small, don't know how to walk, of course, parents are needed. And we are not completely disregarding parents, so we are saying that, oh no, you don't need our parents anymore. Of course not. They will always be a loving part of our life. So they've given us birth. They will always be important to us. We'll always be grateful for them for so many ways. But at the same time, we wouldn't want them to impose probably their experiences on us or follow a certain path because of the fear that they have in their hearts, that probably our child will go wrong here, our child will fail, this can be harmful for our child. This will stop them from making their own mistakes, because at the end of the day, it's the child's life that they have, it's their own experience. Like our parents had their own experiences in life, that is exactly how this is our life and it is our experience at the end of the day. So we are open to opinions, but then at the end of the day, especially at the age where I am, I know that now I will take opinions, but I will only take when I feel that if it completely resonates with me. And of course, in the growing years, there are certain things, certain norms that we teach our child, that this is right, this is wrong, and they learn more with experience, of course. But again, we should also allow them, we should keep this free environment, that we allow them that, so this is how things work. What is your say in it? What do you think about it? How do you analyze the situation? So not just keep your opinions, but from a very young age help them keep their opinions, so that they become, so that they don't have any identity crisis. They understand that, okay, this is me, this is myself, and it's developing from the very beginning. Sometimes many parents just shun their kids down, saying that, no, 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 you know what, this is not good. I mean, this is not going to work out for you, so don't do it. So sometimes they don't even go ahead and try doing that. And who knows that when they go ahead and do it, it might turn out to be good for them, which did not turn out for their parents. Because time changes, things changes, and every person is different and have different experiences. So I think we should take this into regard. We are definitely not here to like uh, disregard or anything. And also, um, this one conditioning that has been carried from, and which we have also experienced, is that sometimes a difference in opinion between a child and a parent is seen as a sign of disrespect, and that kind of uh, makes our parents more furious, that you're not listening to us, our opinions don't matter to you, do we don't matter to you, like, why would we want anything wrong for you? And then we standing here and telling mama papa, of course you wouldn't want anything wrong for us. But I really feel I need to look into this myself now. And I'm not at all disrespecting you, but this is how I view my life. So I would like to go ahead with it. And it is definitely not a competition going on, because uh, no one is better or this and that, but it's just a matter of giving space and boundary, and understanding each other's perspectives with open mind.
Very well said, and I like the way you explained, and you clarify that a child does not view it as a competition, because indeed it isn't a competition, right? And I completely agree with you that that space, that thinking mind needs to be encouraged, where a discussion or a dialogue needs to be encouraged, so that the child start thinking, because it would be the same set of parents who once will reach a point where the child needs to think. They will say, oh, you don't think, because the child was always spoon fed. So
Absolutely.
trust me, like when I said that I am going to represent both sides of the coin, so I meant that. And because these are not, I would say, these are not challenges or issues that are just relevant to your generation, but these are issues that are prevalent and relevant to a child, irrespective of which generation they come. Because today, maybe our generation as parents may carry a legacy or a baggage. Tomorrow, it's going to be your generation, right? So the cycle, it's a vicious cycle which continues to there. But when a child is actually told that, okay, you don't know this, but I know it, and I'm telling you that you either don't do this or you do this,
Hmm.
how does the brain wave of a child actually accepts it, processes it, and reacts to it or responds to it?
Okay. So, if you go and tell a child, very young age, this is the situation you are in, this is how your life is right now, and these are the things that you have to do. Now, you either do as I say, or you don't do it, because your thinking or your thoughts are right now not encouraged. Now, that child, very young age, will start developing self esteem issues, self confidence issues, self doubt. Oh, wait, I can't trust myself. I think I have to go to my parents. I have to go to my friends. From my own experience, anything, like small things, probably an assignment, which where I thought I should do it this way, but because of having this fear that, wait, I don't think my decisions are correct. Wait, can I trust myself? Can I really trust myself here? I think I should go and take opinions from my mother. I think I should ask my teacher. Oh, but my friend is also doing that way. But no, 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 no. I'm sure they have thought something else, or their parents would have told that. I should go and take opinions from others. I should not take any actions. I should not ask myself. I should always ask others. And that can be very traumatizing later on, because that self-doubting issue just gets stored in your subconscious mind, and you always are in this fear of whether I am capable or not, or potential enough to carry forward my life, my own decisions. And you always live in this fear, and then there comes a point where you have to tell yourself that no, no, that's not true. I think I can take my own decisions. I think I can handle my life now. You take time to come out of it. So why to reach to that stage where you fall into this trap where you feel that no, I'm not good enough. I can't take decisions for myself. I always need someone else around me. I need to be spoon fed. No, it gets frustrating after a while. You just feel, क्या मैं इतना भी खुद नहीं कर सकती, क्या मैं इतनी भी चीज के लायक नहीं हूँ. And these are very small thoughts, but they become a cluster and they get stored, and they can lead to big mental illnesses like anxiety, depression, which many children, because of having that, losing that faith in their teen years, develop, and it affects them through their adult life. And trust me, we cannot have rising adults if we wouldn't have them as rising teens. So, yeah.
That is I agree, and I'm sure all the parents who are watching us, you would resonate with what Shifa is trying to tell us, that how a child is actually responding or reacting to all that noise, all that conversation that we have with them when we tell them that ये आप नहीं कर सकते या ये आप नहीं कीजिए, and so on and so forth. Thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook and YouTube, and please feel free to ask questions. Uh, just please bear in mind that Shifa is still not a full-fledged psychologist. She is still in her second year, and has, passed her semester exams with flying colors, and is exceptionally good in her academics and in her understanding of psychology. So Shifa, in the beginning you spoke about the mental well-being, right?
Yes.
How can we as parents work on the mental well-being of a child, especially with the legacy or the baggage that we come from?
Okay. So, ma'am, first of all, I completely understand that the baggage and the conditioning that you have been carrying, your generation, it's not easy, or it's not a one day thing to just get over it, because it has been developed over a time. So it will take time, you will take time to come out of it. And so, of course, we also cannot directly expect you to just suddenly jump out of your old self and see things from completely different perspectives. We understand that you also need that space and time. um, Also, like, I feel that um, the how you can actually help your children from the very beginning is, I think, by keeping an open environment of conversations. Communication is the key to any relationship, and that should always be embraced in every household. Now, talking from my generation point of view, we have things uh, that we might want to share that can sometimes be hardly relatable to your generation. And you know like, I'll be quite open about it. Like, probably like relationships, or liking someone, having attraction towards someone. That sometimes we already are in this preconceived notion that, oh no, not if my, like, Indian parents, if they get to know about this, that I like this person, if I am in a relationship with them right now, oh my god, I will not be accepted. I will be scolded, I will be beaten up, or whatsoever. So this kind of already starts creating a gap of communication where the child fears to completely trust the parent. And the parent, of course, not everyone can immediately grasp these concepts, because not everyone would have been that open about this concept at their age. So that is also completely acceptable, and you will need time. But at the same time, uh, you should be that open minded that you understand, you observe that, okay, so right now my child is experiencing this, and I might not completely relate to it. I've not been through it, because some of our parents, so for example, if a child goes through a heartbreak, and a parent who has directly had an arranged marriage and never really been in a relationship, or never really confessed their feelings to anyone, and always was like, again, the baggage that they're carrying. Oh, I'm here to study. I can't have feelings. It's wrong. I can't do this. If I feel something for someone, oh no, family ki badnami hogi, and all that. Again, very societal things that are the fear that has been instilled in us. So, same things can be carried forward and given to your child. And it can happen very naturally for the simple reason that I was told this, so I'm telling him or her this. But then now, there's when you need to step out of your comfort zone a bit and realize that I might not relate to it, but that does not mean I demean this problem or I don't consider this at all. There's when you need to keep an open mind as a human, not just as a parent, but as a humanity perspective. Be open towards new ideas for your own self, for your own growth. Forget others, for your own growth. Now, like you said, ma'am, that this generation gap always exists. So probably the generation alpha, like after generation Z that we have, there might be things that we might not completely relate to. Like there might be so many technological gaps, uh, but that's why I feel that our generation is very different, because I think we will automatically, we are already started to break from that pattern at a very young age. And when we will become parents, we will already be very open minded and we'll be like, okay, acha, now this is an extra additional thing that Generation Alpha has. Now, ye hamare time pe nahi tha, but I know that it might suit them and I might not completely relate, but it's okay. I'm open to you because I have allowed myself to grow at a very young age, which you guys were also never given an opportunity.
That's
Or,
what is called evolution.
yes, absolutely, ma'am.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful. Yes,
yeah,
please go ahead.
so that's why I really feel that, I think, in my opinion, that our generation has the ability to cast out generation gap. Even if technological gaps might exist, I feel that emotional gap that has always been there, we are here to gap that out. I really feel that that is how powerful our generation is. That's what I feel. Um,
Okay. So let me just break this generation gap a little bit. So here we have a mother who has a daughter who's almost 29 years old, Ela. She agrees to what you say, that conversation has to be easygoing and flexible. So, mother of 29 years of experience is agreeing to a 19-year-old child, which definitely conveys that that whole concept of the generation gap exists to a certain extent. But if a child is thinking that as a parent, we are not evolving with the environment, with the structural changes that we are, perhaps the children also need to rethink, right? Uh, Again, let me remind you all that I am playing I'm playing a dual role over here, where I'm trying to understand a child's mind, and also trying to put the parents' perspective over here. A very difficult job, but I'm going to try and do that, because as a child, when we grew up,
hmm,
perhaps we also did not take things lying down, that okay, whatever our parents told me or told us was sacrosanct, and neither did our parents not give us an opportunity to actually think that what is it that we wish to do and how is it that we wish to do. So my question to you, Shifa, is with this background, that which simply means that what I understand is that it is not just about the generation gap. Okay, of course, with exposure, with experience, with the kind of environment that one stays in, your mind broadens, your horizon broadens, but it is also about the social conditioning that an individual has been made to go through. Would you agree with me on that?
Ma'am,
Shifa, are you there?
can you come?
Okay. Are you there? I'll repeat my question. Shifa, are you there?
Ma'am,
Uh, you are.
am I audible?
You're breaking up. No, you're breaking up. I can't hear you properly. Would you like to disconnect and join back again? So
Breaking.
while Shifa is trying to
She
connect
missed
back to
out.
the
I'm
network,
really
my question to all the
so
parents, to all those people who are listening here is that does that gap really exist because we become parents? Or does that gap exist because of the social conditioning that we have been exposed to? After all, it is easier said than done that shed your baggage and let go of the legacy. Today, this X generation or Alpha generation or the next generation or the Z generation or whatever we may want to call it is thinking like this. Perhaps we also thought like that. It is the social conditioning of an individual and how much that individual is willing to get out of that social conditioning, is willing to let go of the biases that he or she has in mind to be able to accept the viewpoint of the individual in front. And here, these two individuals are the parent and the child. The child has a mind of its own, the parent has a mind of its own. The CD of the child's mind is fresh, and a
ma'am, some
lot of data, no
issues.
problem, and a lot of data can be written on that CD, which is a clear CD, which is a child's mind. As a parent, our CD already has some data on which the new data has to be rewritten. And if the CD is complete, there has to be some data which needs to be deleted. And that data which gets deleted is the baggage of those memories, of those conditioning that we are made to. So, my question to you, Shifa, was that is it really the generation gap which brings in the change in the mindset of an individual, or it is the social conditioning? Because I'm sure even in your generation, the generation Z as it is being called these days, because perhaps this is the generation after which the evolution is going to be constant, and a lot I keep hearing from you youngsters, and not to say that I'm not young, but what if you were also conditioned in the same manner? And by you, I mean a child is conditioned in the same manner as a parent was. Will the child be the same, or how would it be different?
Ma'am, actually, I definitely agree here with the point about the social conditioning. It's, of course, about the environment also. A very big example that if I'm sitting here giving this interview right now is because I got an environment so open minded where I could actually keep forward my views so clearly. So, definitely, social conditioning does, it has a role to play for sure. And that is how also things are changing because with each generation, a new perspective adds on and things widen, they would just widen up, the new doors open with every generation. So I feel nowadays, like especially, but this one thing that has always been carried forward from all the generations, and I think right now also is there, uh, but we are trying to completely come out of is what will people say, log kya kahenge. This has always been a big part of every social conditioning, especially in an Indian society. We are a collectivistic society, but sometimes Of course, it has its own benefits, but sometimes it backfires us only, because it just sometimes makes us question our own joy or our own choices in life, because we start thinking about what will that uncle or auntie say about it. But I really want to do it, but will this fit in well for my family? How will my family be pursued? How will they be perceived if they if people think that okay, inka beta ya beti ye kar rahe hain, acha they did this. So I think that social conditioning also carries a lot of baggage, and we are trying to come out of that also. And you guys have been exposed to it more. Again, it might have reduced a bit, but didn't completely go. And now we are completely trying to eradicate that. So I think I completely understand that social conditioning have has put more baggage on you guys, how
Uh,
you will be perceived.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. And, as they say that from being a ape to turning into a Homo sapient and becoming from a four-legged to a two-legged, it took, centuries together. And, the human mind very gradually um, sheds that excessive data that it has in its mind. It is easier said than done. And of course, that leads to a lot of mental stress, that leads to a lot of anxiety. And a lot of stress and anxiety, I keep hearing small children say, बहुत stress है मुझे, बहुत stress है. I mean, I cannot even fathom that. Do they really understand the meaning of stress? So Shifa, do children actually get stressed?
um, Ma'am, this is actually a very I actually like this question a lot. It kind of makes me a bit emotional also when okay, I'm sorry, when you say that, do do children go through stress? Um, Again, I think when I was on a call, I mentioned this to you that again, thanks to our society, they have made this wonderful parameter of what problems should look like. And if your problems don't fit into those categories, either your problems are not considered problems or they are too trivial. This अरे ये कोई problem होती है क्या? But then the person experiencing it knows how big the problem is to them. If I share about my problems, uh, it might not sound very big to others. It'd be like, oh, really? Did that give you self confidence issues? Was that really that you had so many issues in your teens? Is that even a problem? But then, if that had the potential to really, you know, bring me into that state of anxiety at one point of my life, means that it would have been very impactful for me. And again, in your perception, it might not have been that impactful, but that does not mean that the intensity hasn't been real or it hasn't been felt. So in our society, it's like, okay, you have a financial crisis. Oh, that's a very big crisis. Oh, you lost a loved one. Oh, that's really sad. You're going through really problem. Oh, but you're a teen and you're not being treated properly, probably by your friends. This person doesn't want to talk to you. This is like a very small example I'm giving. Oh, so you had a fight with your friend and now your friend doesn't want to talk to you. And that's why you're sad and that's why you're stressing out. Is that even a problem? You will find new friends. Come on, how difficult it is to move on. Very easy to say. But the child will be like, he or she was my best friend. We were really close. How should I explain you what that relationship meant to me? Or how should I explain you that when I went ahead and confessed my emotions to a boy and when he rejected me, how bad I felt about myself? That might not be a problem at all for you, but it is for me because it had the intensity to destroy all of my identity in my teen years. So again, we need to understand that no problem is big or small. We shouldn't judge the problem by the scale, by the like scale. कि इधर fit होती है problem तो तभी problem है. Be very small, and that is why um, I can understand. Again, you guys have been told what you guys have also been told what problems should look like. Now problems ke liye bhi you guys have been given this parameter ki, listen, this is the problem, and anything outside of that is just you are creating it. That don't worry, it's not a problem, nothing you have to worry much about. Now the same thing that then you perceive as ki, okay, come on, how can you be stressed about these things? But it is stressful because the person who goes through it just knows how impactful it has been for them. Like I remember as a seventh grader, I had I had no group to go to. Like, I used to eat lunch break alone. Like in the lunch break, I used to eat lunch alone. My class was at third floor, and I used to come down the first floor, and there was this beautiful window in the corridor, which used to give a view of the whole school. And I used to eat there alone. And because somewhere being told that no, you'll find friends, come on, how difficult it is. I think you should try to mingle more with friends. I mean, uh, आपकी तरफ से कोई कमी रह गई होगी, you should go ahead, you should talk more properly, or you should probably make sure that you're getting such good grades where people recognize you in your class. And then you realize that, okay, I have subjects like maths which I probably suck at, so how can I be recognized for that? You, what you do is, then you try to suppress those feelings that, no, no, I think there's something wrong with me. This is not a problem. Why is it affecting me so much? This is not a problem. This can't be considered a problem. But still, why is it hurting me so much? So you wear this nice little smile on your face and you go ahead. But then what happens? It gets piled up in your subconscious. Later comes out as a wonderful disease. So that's how things can turn out to be, if not uh, addressed at the right time.
Hmm. I get what you say. There is a question that has come from Monica. What age did you first, how old were you when you first experienced any kind of anxiety or stress?
Um, Now, when I think about it, uh, senior KG,
Are you
because
serious?
yes, now, thanks to psychology, it helped me go into my very small age and go back there and make me experience and make me realize, okay, I was going through something. That's the realization. It's a very young age. Even when you are an infant, you can still go through issues. So there are so many infants who are not given the proper amount of breastfeed or that affection of a mother, which is so important when you come out of the womb, that new world that you come out in. So important that you are, covered with those arms, and many of them are not given that. Orphans, they're not given that. That from that point itself, you start creating your perception in your subconscious as a child. You're not given that affection. You carry that forward. Really. So when I say Sina KG, it isn't big deal because it starts right from our birth. And that's how it gets carried forward and converts into something so huge if not addressed at the right time. So when I was in senior KG, I never knew how to uh, socialize. Like now, right now, I identify myself as a person who likes socializing, meeting new people, because I allowed myself to discover my social skills. Um, which again, I didn't couldn't get an opportunity to, or self doubts. Senior KG, I remember from that very time I had issues of belongingness. I didn't feel like I belonged here. Going to school as senior KG student also used to be so stressful to me. I used to be like, I don't feel like going to school. No one is there really. And these friends that I have, they're not really my friends. I don't know how to talk to them. I don't know how to go and approach them. I mean, ABCD doesn't help. There are other things also that matters, right? So from that very time, not being able to um, not being treated properly by your classmates, because they, of course, they themselves are kids. They don't know what they're doing. And you being this silent kid, you're so quiet. You're just like, no, it's okay, I think I have to go through this. And you cry, you just swallow up everything, don't address it, but you're very sad about it. but you never come out. You never say that this is really bothering me, because no one asks you. No one asks you. That is why, in the very beginning, even if you see this small thing that you might just sense as a parent is affecting my child, you should go ahead and ask them that, hey, is there something you want to share with me? And give them that, trust that, feel free. Might we not connect on everything that you're saying to me, but that does not mean that I don't love you or I will not accept you. Because here's the thing about parents, their unconditional love, that they are always open to you. They always love you with open arms. Whatever you do, they will always accept you. They will always love you. So knowing and giving them that space, right from, very beginning, is so important. And making them realize that we're not just giving you all the um, physical comforts like good food, good clothes, good school. We're also here for you emotionally, just equally important. And in the Indian society, physically तो everything is like given to the child properly. अच्छे education दोगे, अच्छे खाना, सब कुछ अच्छे से, you always want the best. But when it comes to emotional thing, because it has never been addressed to you also, it's never addressed to us also, that okay, this is emotional support is equally important for my child. I just don't have to come and give them hugs and kisses at the end of the day when they go to sleep and be like, hey, I'm there, I love you. Okay, that is there, but asking them, how was your day? Are you fine? How are you doing at school? Is everything going okay? Is there anything that is disturbing you? Do you want to share anything? Be free. Don't worry. I will still accept you. Tell me. I'm here for you. Very small, small things, small little sentences can have such great impact on a child's mind. Can can help them grow. Really.
Have a glass of water. Have some water.
Sorry.
Don't worry, it's okay. We all go through these emotions, and I'm sure when all of us look back in our life, there are moments where we felt pained, we felt ridiculed. And here is this young girl at the age of 19 who's trying to rediscover herself. It takes a lot of courage to talk about these things in a public platform. And even more when she knows that her parents are privy to this conversation. It is, I think it is an eye opener for all of us as parents. We do a lot of things for our children. We love them unconditionally. We say that beta hum hai, but does it get reflected in the actions? Do we sit down and talk to them on general matters in life? A lot of children are privileged and blessed, where the parents are able to kind of devote a lot of time. But in today's fast race of life, and not just today, perhaps even 20, 30, 40 years back also, as she rightly said, I think I quite agree with her. As parents, we never sit down and ask the child, was your day good at school? Or do we really observe the behavior of a child if it changes? And do we sit down and when the child tells us that I'm stressed, as adults, we laugh it off. तुमको क्या stress है? As she said. I'm as guilty as anybody else. I mean, really stressed to a child. But what she's sharing, let's all go back to our childhood. We would have also experienced these emotions. We would have been ridiculed for the way we look, about our body structure, about our color, about our caste, about our creed, about the background that we come from. We would have been ridiculed for perhaps the biggest and the smallest of things. Oh, you don't have a nice pencil? You don't have a fancy looking pencil box or a bag? And it starts from there. Unfortunately, I would say schools also haven't really worked on this well. The one thing that I really appreciate is, and I, you know, had that till my college undergrad, was a uniform. It didn't matter which background I came from or anybody came from. We all wore the same uniform, the same material, but our pencils, our pens were different, and that's where the drift would get created. We need to think about this because the mental well-being of an individual doesn't get impacted when they grow up. It doesn't have an age. It starts young. Thank you, Shifa, for sharing this. And honestly, I mean, I have goosebumps listening to what you are sharing. Um, I have no words really to say. But you are a very, very strong girl, and you are discovering yourself. And I'm sure, all that baggage that you carry, you will be able to fix them, let go of that baggage. And you must, because as a parent, we also have certain limitations, and we are also humans, and we need to let go of that too. So there is a question that has come, and there are two questions that Monica is asking. But before I ask that question, I'm going to read out a comment for you. Fiza Khan says that, Shifa, you're the most incredible human. Monica is saying for you, keep shining bright. And I completely agree with both these ladies. So
Thank you, thank you so much.
the question to you is, what do you
Yes.
say about the kids who get all affection and time from their parents but don't feel attached to them still? And what can parents do to help a child build that confidence, that emotional strength, so that the experience that you are going or went through, or I'm sure there are many other children or even we adults who would have been through this, don't go through it.
So, ma'am, you're talking about the kids who are getting the time and affection needed, but still not
They
feel
don't get
attached.
they don't feel so attached to their parents, or yeah. And how can parents work upon the confidence and the emotional well-being, or the mental well-being of a child?
Um, so, so it could be, of course, that there are kids who are receiving that emotional support, which is much needed. But sometimes what happens is that the kids which still feel not connected is because they are still developing their own beliefs, and there are some kids who take a lot of time to understand that what they are going through themselves, and unless and until you don't understand yourself that what you're going through, it's not easy to communicate. And there are so many children out there who don't easily open up. Okay, they have so there are like many kids who are introverts, they don't want to open up much, they're very restricted, for whatsoever reasons they want to be in their own space. um, as a parent, of course, if you are giving that emotional support, it's great, but again, don't you know forcefully or always. That's also where the boundary should be placed, that not always going and asking that, are you okay, are you okay, that also becomes a bit of pressure, that yeah, yeah, I know you're there, give me some time, I need to figure it out myself. So there are some children who are still in that cocoon, who need some more extra time to come out of it. And your job is just to go and tell them that, listen, I'm here, okay, I'm always here, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. I'm just here for you. Just know and come to me whenever you feel the time is right for you. You always have my support. And also, you can, if they're not opening up much to you, you can probably, of course, don't like get too much into their personal space, because that also becomes very like, okay, why is my space being intruded? That also becomes a heavy energy later on. But you can always observe their behavior, little few things that okay, so this is what my child is into. Okay, this is what interests her or him. Just like being an observer, silent observer, because observing silently also makes a lot of difference and will help you observe, like will help you understand them better. Because sometimes what words don't do, actions can do. So
True.
you, you can also look. And ma'am, I would also like to add. So, like you said that so now as an adult, and especially I'm very thankful to spirituality that I got this perspective that no parent would purposely do anything to their child will- which they know would hurt them in the long run. It happened unknowingly. They didn't know it, that this was what was happening. And that's only because they had their own experiences in life that they were not able to come out of. And then, how do you expect an adult who has been through their own traumas, and because of not having the awareness that something like psychology exists, you can actually go and talk and get help? How do you expect them to now have that mental space for their child when they were never given an opportunity to develop their mental space? So now I'm trying to understand that as an adult, there was nothing was done on purpose. It was the conditioning which propelled them to act like this, and it's absolutely okay. And now here's the time when we can change things, right? Here's the time when we can look eye to eye on things. And because past has no control over us, past is done. It might affect us, and we are trying to come out of it, baby steps every day. We're trying to come out of it, and we will surely come out of it. Learn to let go things. And that is why I also want to help not just my parents, but other parents also realize that, hey, now don't live with this guilt that you were not there with your kids when they needed you. Because no one was there with you when you needed them. And you don't even know that you can provide yourself with that support. Because this was never addressed to you. So it's not your fault as well. You have been treated certain way, you have been told things, and that's why you acted. So you are equally been suffering. And now I understand that. And I don't want to blame any parent out there because I know it's equally difficult for you guys to come out of it. And that's where understanding and compassion comes into place. That's where you understand that we all are same at the core. We all share the same one consciousness. We all want the same thing at the end of the day, to be loved, to be cared for, to feel worthy. And then society puts so many conditions that this is how things should be, that is how things should be. And those core human values that we all share get lost in the way. And everyone needs that at the end of the day.
Hmm. I don't know what to ask you. How did psychology help you know yourself better and to look back into your past?
First of all, being a ninth and 10th grader, I got to know that I cannot make my career in science. I really suck at science and maths. I cannot do it. So I had no clue what my career is going to be like. And again, uh, we are told that at the age of 18 you should already plan what you have to do in your college and your PG, and make that 5-year plan, and you are expected ki 18 years maybe you should decide what you want to do in life. And that doesn't happen. Like there are people who change their career at the age of 40. There are people who change their career at the age of 25. So what is 18? You're still exploring, right? So having said that, you should be like given the time. And ma'am, I'm sorry, I kind of lost the track of what I was talking about. Can you like help me remind what was I was
I,
what was in the first this place? I'm sorry.
no
Just got
problem. It's okay. I
distracted.
asked you that how did psychology help you
Okay.
rediscover yourself
Yeah.
and look back at your past? And you mentioned that when you were in ninth and 10th,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
knew
yeah.
that science and maths is not what you can do.
Yeah, yeah, right. Thank you, ma'am. So then 11, 12 happened to me, and I got this subject as psychology, and it was very interesting. I didn't know much about it, but I just knew that it's a very interesting subject. So I jumped into it. I had an option between psychology and economics, and I was like, I can't do economics, and I really didn't like economics. So luckily, I got a chance to choose psychology. And first, it just started as an interest. Okay, it's very interesting. Now then, 12th grade got over, and I realized that so many things I got to know about social conditions and how things work and how the human psyche works. Not just interesting, but I could actually see it and observe it in my life. I think this is one of the most beautiful things about psychology. You can so very well relate it into day-to-day life. I think, yeah, of course, every subject, physics also talk about, you can relate to day-to-day life. But that is again on like very physical level. This is like inner self that you discover through psychology, and that the things you have been taught, of course, not apply it so that you just come to conclusions, not even going that way where you're becoming a pseudo psychologist immediately, not even complete your education. That's not also correct. But then you just realize that, okay, reading this, that, oh, probably I could have gone through these things, and then you reflect back. This subject helped me reflect back about my own beliefs. It helped me ponder upon what are the things that I have been taught, and how I have to unlearn them now, and how society can be a better place to live. And also, I would say spirituality has been a big support in my life, because I'm very new to spirituality. I just joined spirituality last year. But so spirituality tells you that don't be in the victim mentality. Try to be an observer of your emotions. uh, don't If you waste a lot of time, again, like I said, if I waste time blaming parents or everyone, I'm going to lose out on my rest of my life and the baggage that I'm carrying. So if I have to forgive people in my life, it's not for them, it's for me, so that I free myself. When you let go of a person, when you forgive someone, when you let go of your past, you free yourself. It's not for others, it's for you, so that you grow as a person. And when that happens, you start observing, so you don't then you understand the difference between reaction and responding. You become more calm about the situations. You understand, so even if someone is being angry to you or really shouting at you something, instead of retaliating, you just stop for a moment and observe that, okay, they have their own things to go through. They are projecting that I might be reflect the thoughts. So uh, thoughts are nothing but like people reflect your thoughts to you back. They're like a reflection to your thoughts. So that's why they say what you think is what you become. So then don't need to take any guilt or feel like, oh, it was my mistake, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Understand that where they are coming from, and they have to resolve their own inner issues. They have to heal themselves, and you can't do that for them, but you can do it for yourself. You can sit down and ask yourself, why did I, being a believer of law of attraction, why did I manifest that situation in my life? Why was this person shouting at me? What is it reflecting about my thoughts? Where do I have this belief in me where I think that such a thing should come. Like I should get so much of shouting. What happened? So it's a very deep introspection, and I'm not perfect at it, but I am trying to get better at it. And that's when. So when you change your inner world, your external world automatically changes. We have always been taught, go and change, bring the change outside, go outside, go get a job, go get a partner, go have kids, change the outside world, when everything is inside and the world is reflecting that to you. And that is the power of spirituality that teaches you. You change your inner being, external automatically changes. I have seen my own experience. When I came out of the victim mentality and I sat down and I was like, I will release myself, I take responsibility of my emotions. No one can. Also, psychology, spirituality mix taught me this, that no one can make you feel a certain way. So whatever I said, that whatever I went through and all that, I did, it was real to me and I felt bad. But now I have this realization that I can't keep on holding on to them and blaming them. You did this, you did that. That's why I went through it. Now I knew I went through it, so it's personal to me. So now I have a choice. It's a conscious person to change that perception. And now I choose to think differently. Now I don't choose to blame you or whatever happened. Now I want to love myself. Now I want to accept myself. Accept the situation, whatever happened. Because whatever happened, even if it makes me emotional, it has taught me something in life. It has brought me till here. It has always been my dream to share my opinions. And I have manifested that in my reality. Why? Because now I gave myself this new portal, this new opening. Oh, Shifa, you know what? You're a person with strong opinions. You can do it. I changed thoughts in me, not uh, choosing to be a victim anymore, choosing to believe in myself. And here I am right now, getting an opportunity to express myself. I changed my inner thought. I changed my outer reality. That's how simple yet complicated life can be if you don't understand that everything is within first, and then as within, so without.
Beautifully said that if the change has to happen, it has to happen within. We were, having a panel discussion yesterday on our another platform called NQ, where we were talking about waste to wonder. And my thoughts on that was that the waste lies here. Only when the mindset changes here will the wonders happen.
Right.
We all talk about bringing that change. Oh, hum ye kar denge, hum wo kar denge. But until and unless that change is brought within ourselves, it's not going to happen. A lot of people may say these are very cliche conversations, but that's the reality. Happiness is within you. Till the time you play that victim card, as Shifa said, you are a victim. But the moment you change your mindset, you are no longer the victim because you don't choose to be the victim. The choice is yours. Take responsibility of all that happens in your life. Accept that you made a mistake. Accept that, okay, what's done is done. What can I do next? How can I move forward? And there are these two, three words that I would like to share here. Fail. People fear failing. As parents, we fear that our child will fail. We don't want our child to fail. But you know what I'm saying? Let your child fail. Because when they fail, forward action, inward learning happens. Don't you want your child to learn? We want our child to learn, right? We we don't want our child to fail, but we want our child to always win. Win to me is what is next. Fine, you won this competition, you won this, or you passed out this, but what is the next thing that you wish to do in life? How do you move ahead? And you have to rise in life. And to rise in life, to me, which I am not saying because I suddenly got these words in my mind, but I actually shared this when somebody asked me about my journey, and I chose to speak about my failure instead of my success. To me, rise is respect, introspect, smile, and empathize. If we can do this, there is a lot of difference that we can create in the environment within and outside. To not make this conversation very lengthy, and as much as I would love to talk to this young girl a lot more, which I know I can do offline also, but not to make her go through all those emotions that she has been through. All I can say is that you are working in the right direction. You're working upon yourself. A lot of us try to work upon the other person because we don't have acceptance. Before you change someone else, make a change within yourself. And we're going to give a pause to this conversation here. And, we have to keep in mind the time constraint also. Maybe some other time we will talk to Shifa again to know more as to how, as an individual, I'm not going to say a parent or a child, how, as an individual, I can work upon myself to bring in that inner change. So that's my promise, Shifa. We will talk about this in a few days' time. And I would say that you're a very strong girl. You have taken the onus on yourself to make change within yourself. So, absolutely wonderful. Kudos to you. And
Um, Ma'am, if you don't mind, can I really add like just last few lines if that would be okay?
sure, please.
Ma'am, first of all, thank you so much for like saying that wouldn't want me to go through those emotions again. But I would say that I have really no problem in going through or discussing about my past openly, because I think if I will not allow myself the permission to purge my past through whatever, tears are also a beautiful way of purging, which again is very like it's just not looked down upon in a society, but it's very important. So I would definitely, if I get an opportunity again, I would not mind to look at my past again. And also, ma'am, like you said that you were talking about failure. So this is one thing that I'm learning as a part of self-love. That our society teaches us that being failing, this fear of failure that we have, even like the parent has the child, ki, oh, my child should not fail. So you should really, if you say you love yourself, you should really stop and ask yourself once that the times when you're doing great in life, the times you're productive, the times when you are at your best in your career or whatever, your marriage life, whatever, you it is much easier for you to accept yourself and love yourself. But the day when you see your life going down, then ask yourself, are you still ready to love yourself? Are you still ready to accept yourself? Because loving yourself is nothing but accepting yourself unconditionally. And like ma'am said very rightly, that we want to make the external changes. We have an argument and we want the other person to change their opinion. The day when you realize that how difficult it is to change yourself, you will stop even trying to change others. So, and when you fail in life, actually accept your failure and love yourself then and there as well. And tell yourself, I am there for you. Don't wait for the world to come for you. Might no one come, but you have yourself, and self should always be embraced. And you should love yourself irrespective of anything, how good you're doing in life, how bad you're doing in life. Because when you love yourself, you open more and more new doors for yourself. So I would
Absolutely.
just close with that message.
Absolutely. A little bit of narcissism is permitted. The narcissism should not to reach to an extent that
Yes,
you
absolutely.
start thinking
Yeah,
completely
like
that you are something like a god or something.
no, no, no.
But yeah, but wonderful, Shifa, thank you so much. And um, Monica says I love myself the most. Yes,
That's
indeed,
great.
same here.
That's great.
Because my thought is, if I cannot take care of myself, if I cannot love myself, it's a farce. It's a pretense that I put forward to say that I love someone else, or I care for someone else. No, I don't. So love yourself, take care of yourself, and accept that there is an issue. Today's conversation, while it might be a sneak peek in the mind of a child, but I feel it is an eye opener for a lot of us to dive deep within, to realize that many things that we do, or we react or respond in a certain manner, is because we were treated like that when we were a child. Body shaming.
I would really want to have a session, ma'am. I would want to address body image issues also in my own perspectives, if I may, sometime.
Sure. We will talk about a lot of other issues with regards to the mental well being of a child or an individual. This was just the first part to it. Stay tuned for more such conversations because, like I say, these children come with a mind which completely takes you aback that, okay. So, I'm sure today's conversation has been very, very thought provoking for a lot of us and a lot to ponder over and a lot to realize what to do, what not to do, how to do. As they say, it's not what you say, it is how you say it that matters the most. So, with this, we come to an end to this particular conversation. And very soon we will meet you again. And Shifa, all I can say is God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, ma'am. I'm honored. Thank you so much for letting me
Take,
express my feelings. Means a lot. Thank you so much.
take care and bye bye.
Everyone who joined us, thank you. Bye. Take care.
Bye. Take care. So that was Shifa Khan from Pune, a 19-year-old girl, a sneak peek into the mind of a child. Emotions, thoughts were flowing freely by this child without the fear of being judged, by sharing her past, a few instances from it, what she felt, how she felt, at what age. Let's all think how we can make the world a better place to live in for not just us adults but for these children also. In the time of the pandemic, a lot they have also been through. Are we conscious about it? Are we paying attention to them? They may not say it, but they feel it. Let's think about it. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for sharing your thoughts and opinion, and showering your love and blessings on this amazing girl. We will be back soon with yet another powerful conversation with another unique and interesting child. Till then, stay safe, stay tuned. This is Ekta Sehgal Malhotra, founder and mentor, Kiddo Mentoring. Take care and be safe.